Okay, I was supposed to be the very last of all of these seminars next time. We had to do a swap. So mine's a bit of a frilly icing on the cake thing that you're going to get in the middle. Hello? So I'm talking about creative ways that we can nurture faith in our children, and I love this stuff. So just, this is me, this is my personality, I like doing this. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. I just want to start with something I heard this morning. This is in the Bible in 1 year, is something I'm listening to at the moment, and this is what I heard this morning. In 1555, Nicholas Ridley, a former Bishop of London, was burned at the stake in Oxford because of his beliefs. On the night before Ridley's execution, his brother offered to remain with him in the prison chamber to be of assistance and comfort. Nicholas declined the offer and replied that he meant to go to bed and sleep as quietly as he ever did in his life. Because he knew the peace of God, he could rest in the strength of the everlasting arms of his Lord to meet his need. I just thought, wow, that is what it's about. I want that for my kids. I want that for me. I want that sense of such a deep faith and trust and hope in God that in the face of something horrific, I can look to him and know that it's going to be okay, that I'm in everlasting arms. I really want that for my children. And I thought about it. I thought it doesn't happen overnight. It can happen overnight, a faith that puts roots down that deep and is that strong. It can happen overnight, but more likely it is just built over time. Just waiting for my slides to come. So the image that always comes to me is that one from Psalm 1 of a tree planted by streams of water that is healthy and strong and has roots that are deep and are sucking up all the nutrients. And that's what we want for our kids. We want to put them in soil that is ready to receive God's word, and we want to do everything we can. So that's the tree. I often think of a tree like that. I think like a Moreton Bay fig, those huge trees that just are so magnificent and so strong, they can withstand anything. And I was thinking about families, they're a little bit like a garden, and the analogy of plants is a wonderful one. Our families are like a garden, they need tending. If you let it go, there's weeds everywhere. We all know that, there's entropy everywhere in the garden. A beautiful garden takes time and effort. And if you think of your family, it's unique. It's different from one season to another. It's constantly changing. There's never a time when your garden looks the same from one year to the next, one season to the next, even one day to the next. It's subject to pressures from outside that you can't foresee. Gardens are an incredibly good picture of what life is like in a family, and all of the interrelationship that happens within a garden is like your family as well. And any good gardener will tell you that soil preparation is one of the main things to do. It's no good just pouring fertiliser on plants. You actually have to nourish the soil and put good things in when the plant is young. And that's what we're kind of aiming for with our children. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about, I'm just going to make 3 points. And hopefully they'll be helpful for you, because I think they're things that can be very natural and very organic within a family. So firstly, and there are 3 things I've picked up here, but first one is, that's Dave. I just think this is the funniest picture, because I would love you to see that picture you gave us of your family, that is our family. But I think if Dave's really highly strung about devotions, I think that's part of our problem is, someone just kicks it out, it's like, what? So that's Dave. I'll show you a different picture at the end, which But so what are the natural inbuilt characteristics of children? What are they like? You tell me. Throw a few things at me. Self-focused, yep. Inquisitive, yep.
One-upping their brothers.
One-upping each other, yep. Noisy. Complaining, yep. Let's be positive for a minute, everyone. Playful, yes. Okay, well, I picked a few out as well, and I thought one of the things that I notice about children is they have this incredible sense of wonder. And it is that they're not just heads on sticks, they're not just thinking vessels, they have these bodies and these, they're just wanting at every point with their minds, their bodies, everything, their feelings, to make contact with everything around them. And this is a wonderful and powerful tool that we can harness when we're discipling our children. And I think, sadly, our modern life has taken away a lot of the wonder. If you think of the seasons around us, we can eat strawberries whenever we like. We don't look forward to strawberries. We don't have a sense of wonder when the sky gets dark because we just turn all our lights on. Children, we've lost a lot of that, and I think that can lead to a whole lot of things that are negative for children, for us, depression, all kinds of things. But it also can take away our wonder at God and what He's doing in the world. And so one of the things that we can do is just harness that sense of wonder, showcase it. Bring what God's doing into your home. Talk about it. Gossip the gospel as you go. Gossip God's goodness as you go. I have these flowers here. These are just flowers here on the altar, not the two beautiful ones on the sides, but just the ones in the middle, that are just from about a 10-metre radius in my yard and around my yard. I didn't make a whole lot of effort. They're just there. You bring them in, focus on them, make a nature table, and talk about it with your children. What are the amazing things that God's doing? As Sky said, look at the mountains, talk about what God is doing around you. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that sense of wonder and how we can do a bit more with it anyway, a bit later on. So the next thing is anticipation. Kids look forward to things, don't you find that? They are constantly talking about what's coming next or things that they love. Birthdays and Christmas particularly. If you ask children, I asked my class the other day, what's your favourite thing in the year? Christmas! They all just said Christmas. Because, and partly that is because of the effort we put into Christmas, right? We actually do pour a lot of our giving children that sense of wonder around Christmas, and they know they're going to get presents and all that kind of thing. And that is an example of how you can give them that sense of wonder. It's just Christmas. When we went on our trip, we went on a big trip overseas last year with our kids, once in a lifetime, and Jack often says his favourite thing about that whole trip was the day we were going to leave. It's like, buddy, you know, it just seems like that. For him, that anticipation was the best feeling in the world, was looking forward to that. Not all the things we did, amazingly. And again, our life, our modern society is just so bland and monotone. There is not a lot to look forward to. Everything looks the same all year round for us. And so we don't have things naturally a lot of the time to anticipate. And I think that one of the things we can do as parents is create moments that they can look forward to. So a few of those things, we can also use their anticipation as a teaching moment. This is something we put on our wall before we moved back to Canberra. Our Dave was at Theological College and we were moving back. Kids just wrote up things they were looking forward to, things they were worried about, and we talked and prayed about those things. Also, the church year. I'm going to talk about this again a little bit later, but I love that in the Anglican Church we have, it's not just the calendar year, it's not just the financial year. We measure the year on a completely different calendar. The year starts in Advent, when it's a time of expecting and looking forward. And that's a wonderful thing to harness. We can use that. We can create that anticipation. So the picture on the left there is something that I like to do in Lent. Lent is a time of quiet, of waiting, of looking forward, of reflection. And that's a very bare tree and a very bare piece of ground, as you can see. And obviously it's looking forward to Easter, the high point, when we remember the death and resurrection of Jesus. And there's obviously some Easter eggs the kids coloured and an Easter garden, which Sky beautifully made one of those, well, gave us all the tools we needed this year to make one of those with the kids here at SMIV, which was wonderful. So anticipation, what are some things that you can do? What are some events that you can create in your family to anticipate? Here's what we do at Advent. This is prettier than it normally is. This must have been a good one this year.